Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of the Meathead Manual. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Adam Garcia, coming at you, the meatiest meatball in the fucking world. With me, as always, my good buddy, my compadre, my compatriot, my good friend, Andrew Harris. Say what's up.
Howdy, folks.
Awesome. All right. Going into this, we have some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it.
Figured out this whole video recording thing, and yeah, it's an adventure.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Let's give it a go. Where it's fucked up, oh whoa.
Yeah, just be back here Monday night, different clothes. So, dude, a good episode today. We're gonna go over a little bit of a myth, but big one is that both Andrew and I are
in love.
No. Well, no. So
no, not ready to make that announcement.
No, I'm not ready to make that leap. I have a commitment issue, and so
that's our biggest problem. I'm so afraid to commit, and I'm being patient here.
Good.
I'm being really patient, but there's a certain point where you're gonna have to make that leap together.
No. So, all right. So today what we're going to talk about is that we got a myth that we're going to be busting a little bit, and that is back position in the deadlift. We were going to do that last week. However, we got really deep in the woods with our blood work and blood work talk. But this time what we're going to go into is that, and something that both me and Andrew are I guess you can say, aging athletes.
Speak for yourself. Yeah. I'm bright, young.
Yeah, you're very young.
Still the crop. I'm in my prime. Okay,
and you're not wrong. But as we get older, we're starting to see a lot of benefits from some of the stuff that we might have taken advantage of or taken for granted while we were coming up. And
you mean like we're just able to go into the gym and not do anything and just go right into what you want to do?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's
So we're going to go into a little bit of the stuff that we do now that we obviously did not do when we were kind of going into first either competing or even just stepping in the gym. So with that being said,
which you mean warmups?
Yes.
Getting ready. That's finish your sentence, your idea.
Man, I feel like I don't need to. I feel like more times than not, our listeners are a lot smarter than we give them credit for.
You think they have telepathy? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
We're going to telepathically send everything over?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Now I'm going to assume that you know what telepathy is, so I'm not going to tell you what telepathy means.
Do you need me to explain telepathy?
No.
It sounds like you know.
No, we got it. No, I got it. I know what it is. It's how Jesus talks to you.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, that's how he talks to you.
In your head.
Exactly. No, but for real though, if you do hear voices in your head, that is something you guys need to go get checked out. Okay, thank you. So let's continue on. So let's get started. The first one that we'll go into is just kind of like, we'll just start with the warm-ups. And I'll be honest with you, it's like when I first started powerlifting, I definitely was able to just kind of like step under the bar and just kind of start going. And as time has gone on, what kind of got me into starting to take mobility, warm-ups and all that jazz a lot more serious is, well, like anyone else, injury.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started like training heavy, it was because I wanted to be a strongman.
Yeah.
I used to train and compete in strongman. My first competition was in strongman. And I will tell you guys right now that if you are looking to compete in something and you're like, well, I mean, powerlifting is great and all, but I don't know, it doesn't really interest me. Strongman is so much fun. It is the closest thing to play as an adult that you can do. Because all it is really is it's pick heavy object up and move it somewhere.
pretty much. It's simple, but there's a ton of different events you can. Strongman is a lot of fun. But I was actually just having this conversation with Brandon because he was like, well, when I get back, should I do powerlifting, strongman? I don't know what I should do. And one thing though that makes strongman tough though is you have to have all the different implements available.
Exactly.
And that is extremely tough because every strongman event is different.
Yes.
So you're kind of, when it comes to the actual training side of it, yes, you can just get overall generally strong, but then when it comes to actual specific implements for the competition, that's when it gets a little tough.
Exactly. And I'll tell you right now, that's actually why look what you did.
I did it again. I was trying to get it closer to my face.
I want you guys to know that
I'm special.
Like, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Right? So,
keep talking.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
I am. I'm going to. So, big thing is that that was actually why I started first getting into powerlifting, is because when I got to Nevada from Virginia, when I was in the Navy, that was when I had started my competition and stuff. The gym that I was at, or the closest gym to me, was Base Gym, right? And then the closest gym that had any type of strongman implements. Oh, that's a fucking hard word. Implements was American Iron out in Reno.
Yeah.
And they had everything. And that is because of people like Travis Ormeyer, who used to train there. So I was like, you know what? I would love to be able to drive an hour and go to this gym every day, but I can't do that with work. So
yeah, it's so tough.
Exactly, it made it tough. So I was like, all right, well, I mean, powerlifting, you only really need is a barbell.
That's all I need, really, bar and rack.
Yeah, literally, you're good. So that's what got me. But when I first started competing, I was obsessed with the deadlift. When I first started actually trying to get stronger, I was obsessed with the deadlift, because I remember being like my first time deadlifting, when someone first taught me how to deadlift, my first time ever deadlifting, I picked up 405, and I was like, wow, all right. And then I deadlifted every day.
Jeez.
Every day I deadlifted. If I was tired, I only picked up something slightly heavy once. If I wasn't tired, I picked up something a little bit more heavy a lot.
Yeah.
And within a month or two, I pulled 500 pounds. And then I was trying to pull 550. And I was with a group of my friends, and I was like, I can do this. And I went to pull 550, and I popped my back hard, right?
Yeah.
And so it was after that, I fucked myself up a couple more times after that, but that was the biggest turnaround, because in my head, I was like, I just realized whenever I would just come into the gym and just go, I'm going to deadlift. And I would just throw weights onto the bar. Hardly any warm up. Yeah. Thinking about it now, I have no idea how I didn't walk away with
yourself worse.
Yeah. But so I started doing a little bit more okay, well, what if I do some different warm ups and stuff like that? And then as I got more and more acclimated, and as I got older, honestly, I started going into more of okay, if I'm going to deadlift, I need to get these movers going, and I need to move a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a couple things with that. So, a lot of times people will associate needing warm-ups and everything due to age and everything, which is partially true, because as you get older, you are less mobile, you're less everything. But the reality is, and they've done studies on this, There's multiple types of warm-ups that you can do. So activation is one, and that's the big one. You want to activate the muscles you're going to use for that day. So like whether or not it's a deadlift. So the deadlift, you got to activate, your posterior chain, glutes, back, hamstrings. So want to get your quads going. You want to activate those muscles that you're going to use so that they're not going into it cold. And it is actually shown to increase your performance significantly.
Yeah.
So then you have your activation side. So that's getting you ready for the specific lift you're going to do. Then you also have your mobility side. Mobility side is, of course, because of age, injuries, stuff like that, the things you need to do to be able to perform those movements at an optimal position. Whether or not it's getting down to depth into a squat, or being able to get into a good position for the deadlift, open up your thoracic for your bench, all those sorts of things. So that'll be that mobility side that's kind of specific for the athlete themselves.
Exactly.
So that's when you can kind of get into the specification of what the athlete needs. One of the things I deal with most everybody is their ankle mobility. Yeah. Ankle mobility is terrible for most people, so they struggle getting depth into the spot. So what you do is you get those ankles mobile, a little bit more mobile. I mean, we worked with them for me too. You get those ankles a little more mobile, and now you're able to hit depth a little easier.
Yeah.
So that's when you start getting into, all right, what does this person individually need? But the big one being you have to activate the muscles you're going to use so that you can perform at your best.
Exactly. And especially, and to caveat off of that, to piggyback off of that.
I was on with that again.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. So, to go off of that, the biggest thing that we're wanting to think about is, especially if you have if you look at what you do for work, right? So for me, as a PTA, I'm moving people a lot.
Yeah.
I'm moving people. I'm transferring people from a bed to a chair. I'm picking people up so that we can walk. And now, mind you, the little old lady or old man that I have to pick up may not be more than 160 pounds.
Yeah.
Right?
Not that big for you.
Well, the heavy,
but,
which by the way, mind you, again, sandbag training. That's what anyway, but like, the heaviest person I ever moved was a guy just over 400 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The dude was so bedridden that he looked like his body almost kind of looked like a big baby. It was so weird, but like, I had to transfer him he was one of my patients. I had to transfer him from bed to chair once, and like, we did it, and like, man, I was like, I've never been felt more accomplished in my life, because he only did it once. After that, it was like, no, he didn't want to do it ever again. And we're like, right, that's fine. But, so you have to take into consideration what you do, in a sense that if your day is mostly you either sitting at a desk or, more than likely sitting at home because you work from home, things like that. The things that Andrew was really talking about is definitely going to be one of those things that play into part with this, mainly because, again, as you are sitting and doing a bunch of stuff and typing away, we kind of get not so much stuck in these positions, but our body gets more used to being in these positions. So because it gets used to being in those positions, your body wants to maintain a level of homeostasis, right?
Yeah.
And so it wants to stay in those positions. And so what you have to challenge its homeostasis in order for it to change, right? So when you walk into the gym and you've been sitting at your desk and typing and doing all blah, 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 right? Your shoulders are going to be a little hunched forward.
Forward shoulder is a big one that most people have these days.
Your glutes might be a little bit more tight, because the only issue I have with the activation side of it is is the vocabulary. And again, I'm being a stickler about this. And the vocabulary is that it's like, oh, we have to activate or we have to turn on the muscle. The muscle itself is already on, and it's still
or priming.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Priming?
Yeah, I like that word. That word better.
We're gonna prime it.
Yeah. And it's just, again, it's one of those things where it's like if you know for a fact that you're going to be deadlifting, the best thing to do is get your glutes, hamstrings, lower back, and quads warm and firing. And the best way to do that is, at least for me, like, what do you do?
So I like, hip bridges. Good way to get the glutes warmed. I like to get a band and do some RDLs with the band. And for the quads, I've been really liking the, and I've been doing this, I'll do this on and off for a while, but I like it a lot, especially for people with any knee problems. Getting a band around your knee and doing in-place lunges with the band creating tension in 3 different ways. Pulling straight on the knee from behind. So getting that tension, pulling it forward.
Kind of like a TKE.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pulling it anteriorly and interiorly. So that way you're getting all those ligaments in the knee warmed up as well as the quad.
Yeah. You'll also look at depending on what side the band is on. So like if the band is pulling, for those of you, if the band is looped to where it's on the inside of the knee and it's placed
pulling outward.
Yeah, it's going to be pulling outward. Your body will have to force a more internal rotation or a more adduction. So that's going to be your internal rotators as well as your adductors that are going to be facilitating a little bit more, as well as, and which is great because in the squat, you really need that inside the foot pressure, the adductors to keep the hips in line, right? And you're going to need the internal rotators because of the fact that in order for us to properly hit depth, we need internal rotation.
Yeah.
Right. And then as we pull, as we pull inward, so our knees trying to go into more of a valgus, or the knees trying to go like in, the forces of the body have to push out, right? So that gives a little bit more of a lateral push, so that warms up the external rotators as well as the abductors. The abductors are there for really to kind of like allow you to be able to open up the hips and let you sit into the hole, right?
But I like doing that also for the deadlift too, just to get all those different parts warmed up. So I'll do those for both the deadlift and squat days.
Yeah. Is there something that you do every day that there's like...
Yes. I do shoulder dislocates with the band every day.
That's good. Yeah.
Because you use your shoulders in everything you do. Whether it's squat, bench, deadlift, no matter what you do, your shoulders are involved in some way. So I always get them nice and warmed up, get them loose, open them up. I do that every day because your shoulders they tend to take a beating.
Yeah. I do lunges. Lunges.
Yeah.
I do like everyday lunges. And the reason being is because it's the unilateral work, right? But it's also too, it promotes such great range of motion.
Yeah.
And not just the hip, but the knee and the ankle. It's just...
Yeah, you get those hip flexors opened up in the bottom of a lunge, which is really good.
And it's like one of the big key things that like knees over toe guy always goes after. Like if you know how you can do, and like it's something I also like prescribe to people if I'm ever working with them on a rehab level. Once like if your knees are hurting, deep lunges
every day,
all the time.
Yeah.
And so for me, when it comes to the deadlift, I do a lot of, I'll either warm up with the 45-degree back extension.
Okay.
Or if I don't have access to it, or if I'm going to be honest, if I just don't want to get into it, if I don't want to get into it, and so instead of doing a banded RDL, I'll do a banded good morning.
Okay.
I'll do banded good mornings. And, strangely enough, I'll actually do, a little bit more, shoulder work. I'll do some shoulder work on deadlift day as well. And the reason being is because, which is something that Dr. Seth Aldersworth talks about. And that is, especially if you do mixed grip, for those of you that do one hand over, one hand under, we all know the adage of how tearing a bicep works. When you're going, you end up kind of curling the elbow in, and that ends up causing the bicep to immediately load. And then once it loads, then the tendon usually goes. But there's other mechanisms of injury. Yeah. And the mechanism of injury that's most commonly seen is also too, is that there's not enough external rotation on the underhand. Okay. Right. So and you saw me do it, right? You remember when I failed that 771 during prep, right? Just pull me 771. No big deal. No big deal. Anyway,
fucking show off.
So, but when I was pulling it, I was going, and I immediately started to like internally rotate, and when I internally rotated my arm, my hand started to pronate, right? Or it started to flip over. And when I was trying to flip over, my grip was starting to go, and my grip was starting to go. You saw my arm. Yeah. I started to pull in. Yeah. And I immediately dropped it. And you were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know." But so one thing that I do is I'll do dead hangs in the over under position from a pull-up bar.
Interesting.
And I will I'll do my scat pull-ups, right? So I'll drive my scapula as hard as I can down in my back pockets within that over under position on my pull-up bar. And just the dead hang there, that's enough to really get that like forced almost. There's another exercise you can do, but I only do it if I really need to.
I personally like rifle flips for that.
What?
Rifle flips. So you take a PVC pipe or a broomstick, and you literally flip it around like you're doing rifle flips. And when you're fully extended, you're holding on to it here in your hand, and you kind of roll your wrist over the and it gets a good stretch all down the arm.
Yes,
I'll show you it.
Thank you. Yeah, because I'm going to be honest with you, the description that you gave me, I couldn't see it. like you know when someone describe something to you, you can kind of see it in your mind's eye.
No,
not in your mind's eye.
No,
I couldn't.
No,
not at all. No. I didn't understand it at all.
Too bad.
I'm sorry. I tried.
Did you know?
But like at the same time though, there are some warm-ups that are like some protocols that I do. There's a lot of people that will say like, "Oh, your warm-up shouldn't take longer than 5 to 10 minutes." I will agree with that in a sense that you should try and find where you know that you're like, okay, like one of the great this guy named Chandler. Oh, jeez. He's on Instagram. I'll have to look it up and remember again. But he always talks about his like what he'll do is he'll get under the bar or he'll get over and he'll pick up a bar or whatever. And when he goes through the bar movement, if he notices that this is feeling a little whatever, or this needs to get a little like this needs to move. Mm-hmm. Then he'll go and hit that certain thing and then come back. Or what you can do if you know that you're like, okay, I just from watching how I do things, and this takes a level of self-awareness from people, is to be able to look at yourself when you do something and go, okay, I noticed that this is doing something, this is doing something. So my warm-ups are going to be, my priming movements are going to be geared towards that, and then we go.
Yeah. I mean, that it definitely is more advanced. That's where like having a coach helps out a lot. Be able to watch you warm up, because you got to be very aware of your body and how it's moving, and be able to understand, okay, like, all right, my hips feel a little tight. What do I need to do that? All right, maybe we need to go sit into a full ass to grass squat and like move around and get those hips to warm up, whatever. But that takes an advanced level of like that most people aren't at. So that's where it's good to have a coach. Exactly. Be there watching you. They'd be like, all right, they're looking at your squat and they're like, okay, your hips are tight. Let's open them up a little bit. Or your ankles are tight. Let's get them to So if you can work with a coach, especially early on when you're still learning yourself, and get in there and be able to help you out with those warm-ups. Because that's what you should do as you're warming up.
Yeah.
You it's always funny. We always talk about this. When there's no weight on the bar, it always feels the worst. It always sucks. But then you kind of get a feel of where everything's at, and then you kind of go, okay, yeah, my hips are still a little tight. Let's go and let's warm it up.
Yeah.
And then as you start to add weight, you can kind of keep reassessing as you're going. And that's part of the warm up process too, is doing the main movement, but with light weight.
Yeah.
That way you can kind of see, okay, body is moving this way. Then you're also priming the muscles, getting them ready, getting your CNS activated.
Exactly.
And that's also part of the warm-up process.
Exactly. That
you should be doing every time. You shouldn't be jumping into it like heavy weight right away.
It's also too, it's like one big thing too is pec tightness. Mm-hmm. Pec tightness, especially after benching. That to me, well, and again, it affects me. So if it affects me, I'm one of those guys that says if it affects me, it obviously affects
somebody else.
Everyone else, yes. Because I'm the center of my own world.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I should also reiterate, I apologize. I didn't tell anyone. If I sound gross, it's because I'm getting over a cold. If you notice, I'm kind of like pulling away and coughing is because I'm fucking disgusting.
And he likes to pull out.
Yeah, and I like to pull out. Yeah. So, with that being said, so pec tightness. Big thing that I've noticed that at least when I remember from me, partially tearing my pecs or straining my pecs, I would get to a point where I would just, again, I'd show up, maybe move a little bit, get on the bench, and then immediately bar, go, and stuff like that. But then after I was done, I wouldn't do anything else. One of the other ones that I kind of go after that I do almost every day is kind of like either the far end of a dislocate or a doorway stretch, because that's going to really open up the pecs and allow for more thoracic extension. So a little bit better thoracic extension is going to benefit you in the squat to help you with your shelf, as well as being able to maintain your position. The bar won't roll. You won't immediately hunch over as you get down in the bottom, stuff like that. But the biggest one is a stretched pec when placed under load. If you train with full range of motion and your pec stretches and you get into that thoracic extension, the likelihood that your pec will tear in the bench press lowers, because your pec is
able to move.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that's how it happens with everyone. I've just noticed that in the time that I've always injured my pecs is because I really just neglected my my chest openers, and when I would negate them, then I was like, oh man, my pecs kind of hurt just a little bit, and then I would do them for a week, and then lo and behold, I'm benching great again. So take that with you.
I do want to go back to something you said before that about a warm-up should only take 5 to 10 minutes. I want to say, in an ideal world.
Oh, yeah.
But most people are coming from not doing anything all day from their job. And it's going to take more than that just to get warmed up. If you have nothing else to do and this is your sole job, sure, 5 to 10 minutes, that's all it should be, because you should already be ready for the gym. If you're taking more than 5 to 10 minutes, that's perfectly fine, especially as you get older. When you're 20, sure. You barely need to warm up when you're 20.
I agree. I agree.
But let's be real. As you start to get older, it takes a little longer.
Well,
good reason.
Well, yeah. To go off on that point, my warm-ups, just in this last prep, my warm-up going into just to get under a bar and squat and feel at least somewhat okay with getting under a bar and squatting, I was out maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I was like, even though my job is physical, dude, like it's still, and even
a whole different level of like what you need to get ready for.
Exactly. Because that's another thing too, is that like the great thing of having those warm-ups, and at least in my opinion, I mean, if you're one of those people that you have to get in, do the thing and get out, okay, we could figure out a way to make it to where your warm-ups super close, whatever. But like I noticed that when I'm going in and I'm like, okay, I have to, like, for my last prep, my heaviest squat going into my last prep was 727. That was huge.
Yeah.
Huge for me. My warm-ups going into, before I even put a bar on my back, were at least was 25 minutes. And it was because I was really trying to be meticulous with what I was doing. And a lot of people might disagree with me, but man, that put me right in the right mindset. That got me, like, in my head, I was like, I feel primed.
Yeah.
I feel good. Let's get up.
And let's be honest, you're also taking the time to get mentally ready. You know, that you're sitting there going, okay, like, all right, let's fucking do this. Let's go. You know, so it's like, that's also part of the warm up too, is to mentally get ready. Now I want to go into what isn't a warm up. What do you see people doing that, like, you're like, why are you even waste your time?
That's going to take a minute.
All right. Well, I'll start off with one.
Go.
All right. Just walking on the treadmill.
Oh, stuff like that. Okay.
So just walking on the treadmill, or even doing any sort of little cardio thing. Like, great for getting the blood flowing, blah, 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 but it's not getting you ready for the actual lifts that you're about to do.
Two things. Two things, because I really don't like them. Foam rolling.
Yeah.
And either the Theragun or a lacrosse ball prior.
Okay.
And now, mind you, again, and the reason being is because if you're feeling a pain and you foam roll it out, more times than not, yes, it'll be kind of like putting a Band-Aid over it, but it won't it won't take away from whatever is actually causing that, like, buildup of possible, like, whatever. I personally, I will see people come in, they'll put down the foam roller and then they'll lay on the foam roller, but they'll, like, get on it and then just kind of be on their phone. They're kind of just like, whatever. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just terrible in general.
Yeah. But in my professional opinion, working in places for rehab and physical therapy, if something hurts, right? Best way, like, take for instance, my knees hurt. Mm-hmm. Right? If I just walk in the gym and try and squat, my knees will kind of ache.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep.
So, but like, my knees will kind of ache. So what do? I do lunges. And when I do lunges, my knees feel better. Yeah. My hips feel great. You know what I mean? And it's true. My teachers would always say, movement is medicine. So if something hurts, move it. If not move that certain thing, move the opposite of it.
Yeah. Well, so the way I look at it is as signals you're sending to the body. So when you are foam rolling, putting a ball into an area, you're sending that signal, you're trying to tell that muscle to relax. And that's the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. So that's the same reason why static stretching is terrible. Because you're telling your muscles that it's time to shut down and relax. It's the signal you're sending to your body.
And also, too, more times than not, when you do static stretching prior to actual strength training, depending on how far you go into your stretching, will place small micro tears into your muscle, which in turn will increase the ability of getting injured. Yeah. And also, too, again, the effects of the static stretching, it actually will actually, so what you were talking about in the sense of like telling it to relax, what that'll do is it'll decrease performance.
Yes,
right. Exactly. And so, and that'll show in the studies. In studies, they try doing ballistic stretching, they try doing movement, and then they try doing static stretching. And in if I remember correctly, the static stretching, they saw like, I think, I'm not going to quote the amount of percent, but they saw a certain percentage.
They saw it was a significant percentage decrease
in performance. Yeah. So again, nothing against static stretching though. Like if you want a static stretch, do it in the morning when you wake up.
Yeah.
Right.
But you got to think about the signals you're sending to your body. What you're telling your body you're about to do. And
exactly.
You're not telling it, hey, we're about to go squat heavy. You're telling it, hey, we're about to shut down and be done for the day.
Yeah.
You know. So
that's like literally watching porno before you go to a funeral. Like like
let me go rub one out before.
And you had to shake Grandma's hand. I'm so sorry, Grandma. I know Grandpa was a good person, but you're bricked the fuck up. Come on, dude.
You didn't wash your hands. Oh Lord. Oh God. No. Oh.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh no.
I derailed this. I'm so sorry.
That was quite the analogy you gave there. Oh God. What were we even talking about?
We were talking about it's about the signals that you're setting.
Yes.
You can't, if you're going to try and do something of performance, in better analogy, you don't want to drink sleepy time tea before you go for a run. There's no, like, come on.
That's a lot better analogy.
Yeah. I like the first one. I'm down with the first one.
I know you do.
But like, so with that being said, there are different things that one can do. So like, we talked a little bit about deadlift warm-ups. We talked about, or priming, and then we talked a little bit, but you really talk a lot about, squat and bench.
Yeah.
Right. Squat in itself is one of those ones where it's like almost like where deadlift is kind of like, oh, here's a small list of things that will definitely help. With squat, there's a whole
muscle in the body.
There's a whole array of things that you can do, and it's every muscle in the body.
Yeah, because you gotta. I mean, I kind of work my way top down. So I start off with my, upper back, shoulders, get those warmed up, do some like band pull parts, get those mid back muscles going so you can be able to get that triangle tightness in the upper back. And then you got to warm up your posterior chain, your quads, everything.
Exactly. More times than not, I like to look at things that'll do the biggest bang for my buck, right? Regular dead hangs from a pull-up bar will help kind of, so when you do a regular dead hang from a pull-up bar, if you drop the rib cage, right? So arms up, you'll try and pin the rib cage down to your pubic bone, right? Mm-hmm. Or try and make your sternum touch your wiener. That's how I think of it. If you're trying to get your sternum down, right, while you're dead hanging, your shoulders will stretch, but you'll also feel a big stretch in the pecs. And then if you tuck the chin back and kind of pull your head up, that'll help force a little bit more thoracic extension. Then from there, after I do 2 sets of like hanging from that, I'll do like banded behind the head lat pull downs, right? Imagining myself pulling myself into like a squat bar position.
Yeah.
And that will helps me turn on the upper back, and also to kind of really help with the pulling into that position and getting myself into the position I really want to. And so those two, that's all I really need to do.
Yeah.
There's other stuff you definitely can do. But again, it's all very personal. Right? Yeah. It's all very individual.
There's a lot of different ways to skin the cat, as the saying goes.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah. No, and that's part of the as you go along in your powerlifting journey, you kind of start to figure out what works best for you personally. You know, and you can play around with different stuff. There's a ton of different ways. Like, you know, I've been watching some of the Seth Albersworth videos, and like he's got a bunch of different stuff that I've never seen that you can do. And like, you know, he's talking about like how, you know, building his bench and stuff. And so there's a ton of stuff out there. Yeah. You can play around with what works best for you and kind of figure out, all right, like one, and the other thing is too, one that you're going to do consistently. Because that's the other big part is like, you know, you can show different things, do different, like be taught different ways to do it. But if you're not going to actually do it when it comes time to, you know, so that's the other bit is like, all right, what are you actually going to do consistently? Now, if you're taking this serious and like you're trying to get to an extremely high level, you're probably going to want to do this stuff, even though you hate doing it, you're going to do it anyways. Yeah. But if you're kind of a, you know, most people, where most people are at, they like doing this. It's a hobby. But they're not, you're not taking everything so seriously. Exactly. You need to figure out what ones you're going to do on a consistent basis that works best for you. Exactly. And again, the most consistent list of doing things is usually a lower list of stuff. So again, looking for exercises that will give you the most bang for your buck. The dead hangs for shoulders. Lunges for lower body, sitting in a deep squat and kind of like shifting over from one side to the other, and that'll open up the not just the hips but also open up the ankles, the hip 90-90s. That'll help with internal rotation, external rotation. I like the combat stretch for ankle mobility, ankle and hip. So where you're in a lunge, knee on the ground, and you're pushing the knee forward. That's what that's called? Yeah. There's many different, that's what I know it as. No, dude, that's like staple. Yeah. That's staple, man. So yeah, knees over toes, you know. Yes. Really pushing that, because that's what's going to help with that ankle mobility, be able to get down to that deep squat. So that's something. And then also if you sit up right into it, you can really open up those hips. And then you're just kind of going back and forth on that, not doing a static stretch, remember? Yes. We're going to go down into it, then come back out, down into it. Exactly. You know. So again, the main point of us bringing this up is because more times than not, like, as you start out, more times than not, whenever you start out in the gym, you're younger, you don't really invincible. You feel invincible, right? But it's also too, as time goes on, and it's not even just like, because I like to talk about whether or not if you have your regular age and then you have your training age. Yeah, right. Me too. So, though I'm 34 years old, right? And because of that, you know, that comes with one thing. But I've been in the gym since I was a teenager. Yeah. So because of that builds, especially all the absolute dumb stuff I did growing up. Yeah. And then also training as heavy as you do for as long as you have. Yeah. That places, wear and tear onto the body. It's kind of like, imagine if there's like, it's the same thing. If the car sits in the garage the whole time, right? It's still going to turn to junk. But also too, if you have only one car and that car gets taken around all over the place, putting 20,000 miles a year on it, exactly, then it's the same thing. It'll start to wear and tear. Yeah, just like anything. So the longer you stay and prolong time in the gym and actually pushing for more performance, it's always really good to be able to prime the body, get it ready. Because and even if there are times where it's like, okay, well, you don't really need to do that, why not? You know what I mean? The worst thing it's not gonna hurt you. The worst thing that's gonna happen is that you step in the gym, you do your stuff, and hey, you just feel great as you go and you fail a lift, right? Yeah. But again, multiple scientific studies, a bunch of them have all shown that activation, priming, is going to increase your performance. So if you want to perform at your best, you should be doing this. And then again, with everything, it's about the intentions. Don't be on your phone. Don't be lackadaisical with it. Take these warm-ups seriously, and you're going to get the most out of it. And that's how you're going to, it's actually going to help you just as much as doing the lifts, get better.
Exactly. So I think we beat a dead horse, right?
Yes.
We could real quickly just run through the different things that we do for bench.
Okay.
For me, again, dead hangs, right? Again, but I actually do a lot of banded rowing to kind of like really prime the chest up position. I'll throw a band over a pull-up bar and put my hands into the pull-up bar and do a very like isometric static hold of a lat pullover. And really shove my chest up. Yeah. And when I do that, that's going to mimic the feeling of pulling the bar into the position that I really want it to be. Yeah. And then because I'm a flat foot bencher, and I kind of like, base up and get, nice and push myself into the bench, I need to open my hips up. So lunges. I do lunges before I go and bench. Because again, a deep, wide lunge is going to help open up the hip flexors and allow me to get into a better position.
Yeah.
Lunges, people. Lunges. Do them.
Do your lunges. All great stuff. Like I said, shoulder dislocates. Staple. I've been doing those ones that the band pulling down and open up your chest. Doing those. What's the name of the one where we're going over your head, open up the thoracic?
Oh,
that you had me doing.
Yeah, that's T-spine openers.
Yeah, T-spine openers. Yeah, those have been good. I've been liking those. I try to get my triceps warmed up, so taking some bands, warm up the triceps.
That's true. For
Batter, I'll go in and get on a cable and just do really light, like 20 reps. Get those triceps warmed up because triceps getting.
And if anyone can see too, is that there's not much warming up out Andrew needs to do, because if you look at his arms are fucking massive, and you know where that comes from? Hard work. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's most of it. Sometimes we get the legs. You do some hip thrusts, things like that. Get the glutes ready, lower back ready. Here's lunges.
So again, as we said, this is only going to help you. It's going to help get you into the mindset of needing to work, and what better way to get there than start doing a priming movement and then go in and just feel good during your movement.
And take it seriously. Get off your phone. Take it seriously.
Exactly. So we'll wrap this up very quickly with our final topic, which is a myth busting. And the myth buster is that we're going to go into is, so a lot of people always talk about rounding the back in the deadlift, right?
Yeah.
Now, I have always been I used to be of the camp where it's like, no, your back needs to be perfectly straight and you need to maintain that position. Until I deadlifted my first time deadlifting 600 pounds, I started to realize that when I did it, my upper back rounded.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, that's bad. And then I started realizing that no. So two things that I will say. One, where you start is where you end. If you start with a rounded back, you end with a rounded back.
Yeah.
Now, understand too, going into a competition, they won't white light you if your back is rounded. So you have to strengthen your spinal erectors to be able to go from this position to that, right? That's one. And it gets harder as the weight gets heavier, just throwing that out there. And then second, though, is if you are rounding, it'd be better to round at the thoracic or where the shoulder blades are than to round at the lumbar.
Yes.
Right?
So you just for the layman, upper versus lower back.
Exactly. So it's better to round at the upper back because at least by then you're utilizing your upper back to then pull yourself into your lockout position. Whereas if you pull and your lower back starts to bend or starts to round, then that goes to show that your brace is breaking down, and now you're exposing your lower back to not so much shearing forces, but you're now loading your lower back and spinal erectors. And I'll tell you right now that they're not as strong as your core and your glutes.
Look at how much muscle surrounds the upper back versus the lower back.
Exactly.
There's not a ton of muscle in that lower back area. It's very small muscles, but the upper back has a shit ton of muscle around it to support it.
Exactly.
So your upper back can handle a lot more than your lower back can.
Exactly. And so, but with that being said, so this myth that no, your back shouldn't round during the deadlift, it's almost like a yes and a no, right?
Yeah. Is the key.
Exactly. So like take for instance, in a lot of back protocols or like sciatica, especially when I hurt my back and when I notice that there are people who end up injuring their back, the first thing not the first thing, but one of the key exercises I give them to rehab them is a Jefferson curl. Mm-hmm. Now, for those of you that don't know what a Jefferson curl is, it's basically think about a deadlift, but your back is completely rounded. We're going to do this in the camera. Your back is like this. You pull and you pull into a fully straightened position, and then once you're straight, you then unhook at the upper back, and then you fully round back down into the into the bottom.
Yeah,
and that is a awesome like rehab technique as well as a great back strengthener.
Yeah.
So it's in context or out of context. I would say if you want to throw a blanket statement, no, you probably don't want to round at the lower back when you're pulling a deadlift.
When you're trying to lift a max load.
Exactly.
But you can do it with a proper light load.
Exactly. And that's where the context is.
Yes.
How much is the load? How big is the load? How prepared are you?
Are you shooting porn size loads?
No, I'm just saying, like how big is the load?
Yeah, porn size load.
Are you and here's the other one. Are you prepared to take the load? Right? And if you are prepared to take the load, then your body should be able to respond to said load.
Yeah.
Right? But
are we talking a bukkake load, or are we talking like one from a guy who is having problems?
I would assume it's one where it's just kind of like, hey, I met this dude, he seems pretty nice, it's our third date, that kind of load.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
so not a like 1,000 guy bukkake load.
No, we don't do that.
Yeah. No Bonnie Blue over here.
So with that being said, this took a very inappropriate turn. Hey, you know what? If we can't use this, we'll just record it on Monday. Fuck it. So with that being said, so again, context matters, but overall, I would like to say that no, deadlifting with a rounded back is not going. The spine in itself, if you look at it anatomically, the spine is meant to move.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to move the way that we do if the spine wasn't able to move.
It kind of has a natural curve to it anyways.
Exactly.
It's not a straight line.
It is. It's exactly. It is perfectly set up for load bearing.
Yeah.
Right? The upper back has a natural kyphosis, which is a round, and the lower back has a natural lordosis, which is a curve. Right? In the whole thought process of like, okay, well, so if someone has an anterior pelvic tilt, you've heard of this, right? Everyone always has this like thought process of like, oh, I have an anterior pelvic tilt that's bad.
Sticking their ass out.
Yeah. did you know, and this is something I learned in school, and that is, when that study came out, they only studied a certain demographic of people. They didn't study a whole broad demographic of people. Hence the reason why they think of that you bring up what's known as randomized control trials, right? Or stuff like that. And in this, they only did one group of people, and that is college-aged white guys. Because those are the only dudes that showed up, right? And so that's where the study bases off of.
Really good group.
But that's where the study bases off of. So they didn't take into consideration that there are some cultures or some groups of people where a slightly more lordotic lower back is actually considered more natural.
Yeah.
Right? Take, for instance, I have a naturally bigger lordotic back.
So you have a donk.
I got that ass.
You got that ass.
I got that ass. Now, it might look like I have a big butt, but really, I just, my butt just kind of sticks out just a little bit.
Just naturally sticks out more.
And for a while, can't help it.
No, it's natural.
I know. I feel it, dude. If I appreciate it. Give me one more day of walking in Hillcrest, and I will no longer have to work. I won't. I'll find myself a sugar daddy. You guys won't ever see me again. Never again. I
don't want to be thinking about the unspeakable things.
Don't.
For that money.
You don't need to. You don't need to think about it. It'll be behind a paywall. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yes. There's many different types of bodies that are naturally one way or the other.
Exactly.
So that's why there's one right way to do it is so annoying. Yeah. Because there's so many different ways you can approach the same thing depending on how you're built.
Exactly. And that was my biggest gripe with Starting Straight, Mark Ripito.
Yeah.
No, he had really good points. He has some really good points. Yeah. The one thing I did not agree with is that he taught the squat, he taught the bench, and he taught the deadlift the same exact way to everyone. There was no type of different consideration into body types or different consideration into, okay, well, this person has longer femurs, this person has shorter femurs, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, there are some people who are able to fully pull a max deadlift with a rounded back and then walk away and feel fine.
Yeah. Now, so there is actually, there is an advantage to a little bit of a rounded back in the upper thoracic. You're able to actually get longer with your arms.
Yes.
So, because that's one of the big things, a lot of people have talked about, a lot of top level deadlifters talk about is getting as long as possible with your upper body. Because the further you can reach, the less you have to squat into a deadlift. So if you can get really long, which that means rounding your upper back a little bit, but be tight, you're now in a more advantageous position for your starting position.
Exactly. And the longer your arms are in a deadlift, the less likely you are in tearing your bicep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In keeping the thought process of arms long.
Staying long.
Yeah. And that is going to help and that's going to help by keeping the arms long. That's what we're looking for, right?
Yeah. So that natural rounding as you get longer, the upper back is going to actually help you deadlift.
Yeah. Yeah. And more times than not, that also too, that pulling the arms longer and kind of rounding the upper back just slightly. The cue that I like to use for people with that is shoulder blades into front pockets.
Yeah.
Right. And that's going to help do that. But when you do that, you'll naturally notice that when you do that, your rib cage drops. Mm-hmm. And that's all that's going to do is stack your rib cage harder over your pelvis.
Yeah.
Which is going to help maintain your brace and actually maintain better alignment of your spine. So
yeah. So it's actually advantageous to be a little rounded in your upper thoracic compared to having this rigid straight back
That's how I used to deadlift.
Yeah.
And honestly, because I tried so hard to do that, I did.
Well, because that's how the I won't say uneducated, the naive,
the Nason bro. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't know what the Nason bro is?
Nason bro?
Yeah, so you have the Nason, right? Or the NASM, as people call it.
NASM.
The NASM.
The NASM bro, yeah.
And
NASM. Because that's what they teach.
Yeah.
That's what they teach in NASM. They also teach not to go knees over toes. Okay, some flaws with NASM.
Definitely feel that.
Yeah. No, you got the NASM bros. Okay.
You'll find them at any local 24-hour fitness, and I'll walk up to you and go, do you even know what you're doing? Like, check it out. Your back is rounded when you're doing your deadlift. That's only going to be detrimental to your spine, and then you're going to go, shut the fuck up.
And then they'll try to touch your butthole. It's true. They all do. I was there. I tried to touch all the buttholes.
Are you sure it's all of them, or
it's just
you?
Maybe just me.
So, with that being said, I think
I would tell you, my time at 24, it was fun, but like, holy cow, that is such a toxic environment.
Was it?
Oh my God.
You know what? I think I would love because I mean, I could tell you some stories of stuff that happened since working at a gym, and I would love to hear all your stories. But with that being said, is there anything else you'd like to add?
As far as the backgrounding, again, if you have been, I'll say this, if you have been deadlifting with a straight back, and that's what you've been doing for a while, take your time. If you go like, all right, I want to try this out and try the rounding a little bit. Take your time, build up some strength with it. Don't just go, all right, let me test out my max with it and see how it goes. Anytime you're changing how you're moving, you want to work into it, build up into it. So if you're going to take our advice and go, okay, let me try this little bit of a rounded back, it takes some time, build up before you start hitting maxes and everything.
Exactly. You don't want to go for any type of maximal loading. Maybe do this at the beginning of a block with a lighter load, something along the lines of, for those of you that are actually like, okay, what would you say the RPE would be? Like an RPE 6.
Yeah.
Right. Start there. Or at the beginning of a block where you're like, okay, well, I know for a fact this is like 70% of my 1 rep max. Let's just, that's sub max.
Yeah. Fine. Ease into it. Don't start trying to max out with it just because you're like, oh man, this feels better. You do need to build up the muscles that support it. And also just get your body familiar with that movement. Yeah. Because last thing you want to do is like try it and then your body does something weird that you haven't done before, and
exactly
you hurt yourself.
Couple things that will end up kind of leading to an injury for that reason is, one, a sudden loading of a muscle that is not ready to be loaded, and lastly, a gradual buildup of irritations that could have been, manipulated earlier. And that is like, if you notice that this certain thing hurts, or it's chronically hurting after you get done during the, but you kind of go, mind over matter.
Yeah.
That's usually
his weakness in the body.
Yeah. So like how this applies to the first one is that if you're not used to like deadlifting in a certain way, and then you immediately jump into something, your body's not prepared to do that. Hence what Andrew said, walk yourself into this. Almost crawl. Yeah. Walk yourself into it. Don't run. And, again, to reiterate, warm-ups are great. They're only going to make you feel better as you go into, and only going to push for performance as you go into your main movements. And especially for those that are going to be going for something heavy, new PR or something of that nature, it's a great way to get yourself into the mindset of getting ready to actually do the actual lift. And if you deadlift with a rounded back, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that was our episode. Thank you so much for listening. You have anything else?
Make sure to like, follow, comment on Spotify too. You know, let us know what we're doing. You know, it'd be great to hear back from everybody.
Exactly. We'll start throwing up some more Q&As for people to start sending us questions, so that this way we can have like a day where we just kind of like start answering your guys' questions.
Yeah.
And we can kind of do a little bit. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you guys. Come on over. Talk to us. We're lonely. Kind of. Oh, no, don't touch me. No. All right. Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.